Welcome to another Vixa Vaughn romance audiobook. We're excited to have you join us. Whether you're into second chance romance, enemies to lovers, fake marriage, or any other trope, Vixa Vaughn offers you the chance to escape into stories that will carry you away into heart-pounding romance and gripping characters. While we want to get you the full experience, some parts of this audiobook are abridged to stay abreast of YouTube's community guidelines. If you want the full experience, you can always head to Vixa Vaughn Romance and use code VIXA40 to get the unabridged version of this audiobook for 40% off. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Chapter 1. Hunt. What in the nightmare is this script? I fling away another one that bears no future in this field. The showbiz industry is a dog-eat-dog world. These scripts are all superfluous. Why does everything have to revolve around revenge and BWWM? The hell? This is giving me a terrible headache. I slump on the settee, taking a deep breath as I struggle to relax. Pinching my forehead, I grab an icy bottle of water from the table. An intern comes in without knocking and parades in front of me in her barely there skirt. If it even passes as one. It looks like a small square handkerchief to me. Damn, what's her name again? She seems to be my fling from last week. My eyes roam to her face and, yeah, I remember. The woman has a sinful mouth that gives a great head, but forgettable. Her come-hither smile is doing nothing to me. I wave her away. She looks askance and leaves. I have too much on my plate right now, and adding a troublesome woman spells disaster for me. Why the hell did I screw a colleague again? Jeez. I shake my head, refusing to jog my brain's memory. No need for it. The shrill ringing of my phone breaks me out of my thoughts. Matt Robin. This name brings me dread. Somehow I associate Matt's name with bad luck. Hey, the great Hunt Lorde, he says as I answer the phone. Man, I'm still your boss, you know. I roll my eyes. You're worth millions, and I pay you more than that. Of course, that's why I'm working my butt off, Matt scoffs. Matt and I go way back in college. We're partners in crime. Tell me the details, I say hurriedly. This guy's handling one of the most important things in my heart, and oh, Matt's a lawyer. My private lawyer, to be exact. Man, the social services shredded your character in court. They won't give you custody for your nephew. Frustration fills Matt's voice with a tinge of anger. I feel the same way. What the hell do they want? Throwing my phone seems a marvelous idea, but I'm still talking to Matt. The least I want is the court saying I have anger issues. It's a tough battle, you see. At least you have the boy in your care. Matt sighs. I need to be the legitimate guardian, Matt. It will be a problem if someone will come hammering at my door to take my nephew. I growl. The battle for legal adoption has been going on for months. Arnell is my sister's only son and my last remembrance of her. She passed away in a car accident with her husband, so the responsibility of raising Arnell falls on me. The problem is, the goddamn social services think that foster care is better than me, his uncle. Why? I don't seem to have a stellar image. They believe that I'm a destructive influence on the kid and will harm him as I've never been a part of his life before my sister died. They question my popping out of nowhere. Working in Hollywood doesn't give me freaking family time. To top it off, my sister lives in another country. We message and call, but it's not always. Occasional hi and hello is barely called conversation. I blame my busy schedule for it. As a top director in Hollywood, I barely have time for anything. But you have a lot of time to play around. My conscience bites back. So... Matt's voice brings me back to the present. You need to prove yourself to the court and social services that you're fit to be the guardian. How am I supposed to do that? My brows scrunch up. Worthy? How do you prove to someone hell-bent in making you look bad that you're fit? The damn social services are giving me the feeling as if they don't like me. That's for you to find out. I'm only in charge of representing you to court, Matt wittily says. Damn it! I I throw my phone away and it breaks into pieces. Closing my eyes, I lean my head on the wolfskin cover. I'm not angry at Matt, but at myself. Can I just say that I can take care of a 5-year-old kid without proof? And if it comes to it, I can pay for nannies, 12 of them, or more. This is one time when I wish money could solve everything. Who says money can't buy you happiness? I'm going to be happy if I can pay the court and social services to have the legal rights as Arnell's guardian. Solving this is very difficult. Opening my phone, I scroll through the gallery. Smiling faces of Arnel and I greet me. The kid makes me happy. I'm not the best uncle, but I do my best. He gives me the willpower to fight for his custody. He only has me. Imagining him living in foster care is making me insane. My sister will probably roll in her grave if this happens, and my brother-in-law will string me up when we meet each other in the afterlife. Should I try to pay the judge or the social service representative? But Matt advised me against it. They might use it against me, I say. Should I appear in charity balls? I mumble, then shake my head. Too ostentatious. I guess I should stay away from women and make sure I don't appear in the tabloids. Brilliant. This is one of my problems. My face is a weekly staple on the news with different actresses in tow. Some are even downright vulgar. The vulgar ones are clearly rumors. I go out with women and it always blows out of proportion. Those actresses think I'm their ticket to stardom. There was even one time when 2 or more actresses gave details about my prowess in bed. And my size. It made women go crazy. My Messenger, Snapchat, Hangouts, and Viber went mad. Social media blew up because of my freaking size. I'm damn famous, and it's giving me a migraine. My phone rings once again and answers it immediately since it's from Arnel's school. Hello? Nervousness fills me. Nothing happened, right? Is this Mr. Lorde? Yes, I say. Please come to school. Your nephew Arnel is in the clinic. He has a fever. I rush out of my office like my butt is on fire.
Chapter 2. Autumn. I can feel Arnel leaning weakly against my side while waiting for his guardian to arrive. His body is too warm and I feel it radiate from him. He's a silent but cute kid. He's attentive in class and is one of my best students. Despite his silence, he actually gets along really well with my other students. However, today is a different story. I noticed that he's even more silent than usual. His interaction with his friends is quick yet languid, and he's paler than I've ever seen him before. One with half a brain can instantly guess that he's sick, so I decided that it's best to take him to a kid hospital nearby. But as much as I want to do it as soon as possible, I have to contact her guardian before going. I did, and here we are, waiting at the shed dedicated to parents waiting for their kids after class. I actually haven't met the man, but I do hear that he barely has time to check on Arnel here at school. For months since I started working here, I haven't seen him. Not even once. Since I haven't met him and I don't know him, I don't think it's fair of me to make a judgment right away. Who knows, he must have his reasons for not checking in. He's not the only guardian that I haven't seen since I've worked here. Most of them just send in their nannies or their chauffeur to send their kids to school and pick them up when the day is over. However, if ever there's a possibility that he might not be as attentive as he should be to Arnel when we get to the hospital, I'll see to it that I'll keep an eye on him myself. I've already left my other pupils to the other teacher in charge, and a dear friend of mine, Gloria. I know that she can handle things while I'm gone for the day, or until I know that Arnel is going to be safe. I also alerted the school board that I'll be taking off to escort a student to the hospital to get him checked and got the go-ahead. So I'm more than ready and good to go. A few more minutes pass by, and I feel Arnel's temperature rising even more. I can feel his breathing getting slow and even, a sign that he's getting some shut-eye. I let him, hoping it'll at least give him enough energy to deal with the doctors later. Although I feel myself getting uncomfortably warm, I endure since I know the poor kid needs someone by his side. A few minutes later, A car stops in front of us, and a man steps out. I immediately recognize him as Arnell's guardian, based on their similar features. I'm also surprised to find him very handsome, and I feel my heart skip a beat. I know very little about him, though he seems to be a little bit familiar. I just can't put my finger on it. I didn't expect to find myself attracted to a stranger before. Shaking my head to rid myself of this unnatural attraction, I take the opportunity to study him. He doesn't see us at first, and I watch him frantically search for us. His face haggard and his hand raking his hair in frustration. I feel relief settle inside me as I see his genuine concern about his nephew. Taking pity on the man, I raise my hand and wave to get his attention. As soon as he sees us, he quickly goes in our direction and stares at his sleeping nephew with pure worry. "What happened? Is he okay? What do you need me to do?" His questions are like an assault rifle, firing off one by one so fast I can barely keep up. I give him a comforting smile. "It's okay. He's fine. Just some fever, but we still should have him checked. I'm Autumn Smith, Arnell's teacher." I reach up and offer my hand, smiling sheepishly now. I would stand, but I don't want to wake Arnell up like that. No, it's fine. I don't mind." He reaches for my hand. His long fingers curl around mine tantalizingly before giving it a firm yet gentle shake. "Hunt Lorde, Arnell's guardian and uncle. Thank you so much for telling me about him. Uncle Hunt." Hunt and I look down at Arnell, who slowly pulls away from my side, yawning and rubbing his eyes, looking up sleepily at his uncle. Hunt crouches down so he and Arnell are face to face. "Hey, small fry. How are we feeling?" He shrugs but then grins at his uncle. "A little cold. I'm so happy you're finally here." I see Hunt flinch a bit at the words, no doubt feeling bad and guilty at the unknowing jab from Arnell. I decide to save Hunt from feeling awful. We still have to check Arnell's well-being, and it worries me when he said that he's a little cold. "Why don't we go to the hospital now that your uncle is here and see what's up, yes?" He nods and reaches out for his uncle. Without another word, Hunt automatically picks his nephew up as I quickly get my bag. "I hope you don't mind, but I'm coming with you guys." "Sure, no problem." Hunt smiles at me, but I can see him worrying again as he feels how warm Arnel is in his arms. He goes to his car while I follow behind, and without a moment too soon, Hunt is already driving us to the hospital, with me sitting in the back seat beside Arnell, despite Hunt offering me the passenger seat. While in the car, I feel Arnell leaning heavily against me again and drifting back to sleep. His breathing seems to be heavy, and my heart lurches with pity and concern for him. I already know that his parents died, and he only has his uncle as his family now. Somehow, I can't help but connect to him on a certain level, since I know what being an orphan means. At least he still has his uncle with him. I just hope that this time, for the boy's sake, Arnell will be spending more time with him after this rather than his nanny.
Chapter 3. Hunt. "We'll inform you as soon as we know anything," the doctor says, before leaving me at the hallway. I run my hand through my hair, a little more harsh than normal. Why the hell is this happening? Why now? "Everything's going to be okay. Arnell is a strong boy." A comforting hand gently pats my back. I look up and I'm surprised to see her. I almost forgot Miss Autumn Smith, the teacher, came with us. It's strange that she's here, but it's actually nice to know someone cares enough for Arnel to come to the hospital with us. At least I can count on someone to look after him at school. I smile at the beautiful teacher and nod slowly. We both quietly enter the room, and Arnel is already asleep in his bed, an IV attached to his arm. I take a seat on the sofa at the other side of the room. "Do you want to have some privacy? Should I go?" she asks, standing by the door, unsure of what to do with herself. "No, I would actually really appreciate the company. I put on the most charming smile I can muster at this moment, motioning to the space on the couch beside me. She nods, but instead of sitting on the couch, she goes to the stool beside Arnell's bed. Huh, someone managed to resist my smile. This is new. My charm isn't working the way I want it to. Must be the stress. So, I try to think of something, but it really isn't my day today. I've never had a problem talking to beautiful women before. Miss Smith. Autumn, you can call me Autumn. Okay, you can call me Hunt. She smiles and looks at me intently. It's nice how you're taking care of Arnell despite your busy schedule. Well, yeah, he's my nephew. I look at the little boy on the bed. He's my only family. And I'm his only family left, I think to myself, not wanting to say it out loud. There's a moment of silence as we both look away from each other. Is it okay for you to be here? I ask, breaking the silence. I mean, what about your class? Will they be okay without you? Oh, it's fine. I asked the other teachers to take care of the kids for me. I just thought Arnel needs me more at the moment. I look at the woman watching Arnel sleep. She's running her hand through his hair, moving it away from his face. After what feels like forever, the doctor returns and Autumn and I stand up. She automatically places an encouraging hand on my back. I smile and nod at her. Mr. Lorde, as per our tests, Arnel has dengue fever. He stops to give me time to take the news in. It's not really critical because it was detected early, but Arnel needs to stay here for a while so we can monitor him, and someone should also be on standby in case there is a need for blood transfusion. It's fine, I'll stay. We have the same blood type, I think, I stammer. Should I get my blood checked? Is my blood even okay to be transferred to him? I can't even remember the last time I was alcohol-free. I'm just telling you about the worst-case scenario, but it's unlikely to happen. We just want to prepare everyone in case his platelet count goes down. I thank the doctor. He goes to check Arnell's vitals and leaves. Dengue? Where could he have gotten it? I sit back on the couch, my head in my hands. I rack my brain to think of where he could have been bitten. I haven't spent much time with him because of my schedule, but when I do, we always stay at home or go out to eat. Surely it's not from the house. It can't be from the school. We follow standard health procedures and are being checked monthly. Autumn sits beside me, once again placing a comforting hand on my back, and then it clicks. I think it's the nanny. They went to the park the other day and they stayed there until almost dark, I tell her. That must be it. Where else could he have gotten it? I make a mental note to inform the nanny to be more careful next time, to make sure not to keep Arnel outside for so long, especially during dark. I can't believe I let this happen, I say out loud, mostly to myself. How could I have been so irresponsible? Is the social worker right? Am I not capable of doing this? It's not your fault, Autumn tries to comfort me. You can't really watch him every single moment of every day. Things happen, it doesn't mean you're a bad guardian. I look up at her and I can see that she actually believes what she is saying. It makes me feel better. It's nice to know someone actually thinks I can take care of my nephew. Thanks. Nice to know not everyone thinks I'm a complete screw-up. Even teachers like me have a hard time watching kids sometimes, even if we've been trained for this. She tries to lighten the mood. We talk about Arnel some more and how he is in school. She tells me he is usually quiet in school, but is always very friendly with all his classmates. He always gets talkative with her and is very creative and loves arts and music. I didn't know all those. I didn't know he likes to draw and that he would like to learn to play the piano. I didn't know he's sometimes shy around the other teachers. I didn't even know about his best friends, Kyle and Mark. How could I not know all of those? I realize how lacking I am when it comes to taking care of Arnel. I wasn't prepared to be his guardian when the accident happened, but I know for sure that I don't want anyone else to take care of him but me. I really have so much to improve on.
Chapter 4. Autumn. There is a sudden look of concern on Hunt's face, and I place a hand on his shoulder to comfort him. I don't want him to feel that any of this was his fault. You're a good man, Mr. Lorde. I'm sure Arnell respects what you do, I say softly. Hunt sighs softly. I feel like I don't know enough about my nephew sometimes. Arnell, on his first day, he brought a stuffed dinosaur and told me and the other kids a bunch of fun facts about them. I gave him that dinosaur for his birthday. He loves it. He loves dinosaurs, actually. I grin. Relief washes over me as a little smile appears in the corner of Hunt's lips. He's a great kid, and he makes me happy. It's not easy being a teacher, but seeing his bright little face every day makes the bad days worth it. He's great, isn't he? He looks at me with his warm hazel eyes. He is. He reminds me of myself sometimes. I chuckle. How so? I'm an orphan too. Maybe a little less lucky than Arnel. I try not to choke on my words as I feel a lump in my throat. It's rare for me to think back on my childhood, let alone talk about it with anyone. However, I see myself in Arnel a lot. Granted, he's a lot luckier than me because he has an uncle to look out for him. I exhale deeply. This time, it is Hunt who places a comforting hand on my back. Get it together. Now isn't the time to get emotional, I think to myself. I do my best to compose myself before I continue. And I'm glad Hunt is being patient with me. It gets lonely, I continue once I've calmed down. Arnel helps me more than the other kids ever would. I guess it's because we're the same. I can't believe I'm telling this man I just met all of this. I hope he doesn't think I'm making this about myself, or that I'm dumping all of this on him. Thanks for opening up, he says, gently rubbing my back. I'm glad to hear Arnell makes you as happy as he makes me. I smile and nod over his comforting words. Hunt really is a good man. Arnell's like sunshine, I muse. He makes things better. I guess being a good person runs in the family, huh? Well, thank you. Hunt gives a small, hearty laugh. But for what it's worth, I'm really sorry about your childhood. Don't be, I shrug. It was long ago. The smile that's lingering on his lips widens as he wistfully looks down at the floor. He's no doubt thinking about the boy. Don't be so hard on yourself, I reassure him. Hey, Hunt starts, but his eyebrows knit together as his phone starts ringing. He takes it out of his pocket and frowns more. Excuse me, I have to take this. Sure. He holds the phone up to his ear, and I can barely hear the lady on the other side of the line. This is social services, she says. She sounds really snobby, the kind of woman who doesn't bother to look at you when you tell her what's wrong. I wonder how she got a job in social services. What is it? Hunt fiddles with trousers. So we heard that Arnell is in the hospital. Hunt's shoulders tense up. Yeah, he is. The principal contacted us. What's wrong with the kid? It's dengue, but the doctor said he'll be okay. Dengue? Even if I can't hear the woman as clearly as Hunt does, I pick up on the condescending tone in her voice. How did he get that? Honestly, Mr. Lorde, you have to be more responsible. Are you saying this is my fault? Hunt's voice gets a little louder. This just proves you're not a worthy guardian for Arnell, Mr. Lorde. I feel the frustration in Hunt's voice as he tries to reason with her. Look, anyone can get dengue. I'm at the hospital. I can take care of him. And the other times when you be partying instead? You're not helping, you know? He angrily huffs into the phone, attracting curious glances from people in the hospital. Mr. Lorde, I assure you I'm just trying to help Arnell. Yeah, of course you are. Hunt rolls his eyes. I don't hear what else the woman says, as Hunt abruptly hangs up on her. He buries his face in his hands and slumps on the seat, staying like that for a while. Knowing better, I let him process his emotions. To give him some time to breathe, I get up to buy 2 bottles of water at the cafeteria. When I get back, Hunt is still in the same position. I feel for him. It's hard enough to be worried sick about his nephew. It really doesn't help that social services is out for him. Then again, they never helped me when I was a child either. Hey, I gently touch his hand. Almost as if I interrupted something, he looks up in surprise. I hold out the water bottle to him, and he gladly accepts it. He opens it and takes a few gulps. Hunt doesn't say anything, and for a short while we sit in silence. A doctor and her patient pass us by, and an elderly couple hobble over to the seats in front of us. I glance over at Hunt, who is looking up at the ceiling, features unreadable. I hesitate whether I should say anything, if I even had the right to. I may have poured out a bit of myself to him, but is he ready to talk to me? Damn social services, Hunt mutters. They have good intentions. Not good enough? I nod in agreement. I would know. Do you want to talk about it? I ask. He takes a deep breath. I guess. What's wrong? Hunt lets his guard down and looks into my eyes before saying anything.
Chapter 5. Hunt. I turn to Autumn, my eyebrows furrowing in frustration. The snooty voice of the lady from social services is still ringing in my ears, and my blood is still boiling from her words. The social services' abject refusal in allowing me to adopt Arnel, and how they see me as a bad influence to the boy. All of it makes me angry. I can't help but look at Arnel, who's fast asleep. The thought of getting separated from him makes my chest hurt. Sighing, I return my attention to Autumn. Social services deem me unfit to be a guardian, I say bitterly. They've been hounding me about cleaning up my act and proving myself to be a good guardian, or they won't give me the rights to adopt Arnell. I couldn't stop the anger seeping into my tone. My hands start to clench at the thought of social services taking my nephew away from me, just because they see me as some party animal who can't take care of a child. My past might be checkered, but for Arnel, I would do my best to give him the life he deserves. He's important to me, but they think I'll neglect him. I feel a sharp pain on my chest as I let go of those last 3 words, because I know that I'll never let that happen. They'll send him to foster care at this rate if they don't see me show improvement. Autumn's eyes soften, her smile melancholic as she seems to recall something. Arnel's lucky to have you, Mr. Lorde, she finally says. I grew up in foster care, too. My eyes widen, but I let her continue. It's not that all bad. You get food, a bed to sleep, and if you're lucky, other wards who you can call your friends. But it's not all good either. It's different from having a real home, but it's close enough I settled for it. I can feel my chest tightening, feeling apologetic for bringing it up, but I can't help but also admire her for telling me about it. I'm sorry. There's nothing to be sorry for. Foster care taught me a lot, and while I don't know what might happen the instant Arnell is forced into it, I don't think he wants to be separated from his uncle. Running a hand through my hair, I sigh deeply. I don't know what to do, to be honest. Can't say I blame them for being skeptical. Hell, I blame myself. I mean, my image? I scoff. I'm just some playboy with a fling plastered on the news. I never thought of it as a problem until now, and I don't know how to change it. The curly-haired teacher reaches out, patting me on the shoulder as if to comfort me. I get it, she says softly. It's not going to be easy to change your image overnight, but I've heard more about you than just your flings. Wait, what? Really? I mean, nothing personal. Just how you support the school. I feel her hand on my shoulder now gently moving towards my back. It's comforting. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have the facilities that made our school better, she adds. So don't beat yourself up over it. It warms my heart to hear her praise, so I grin sheepishly at her. But unfortunately, social services don't know what she knows. And even if they did, I don't think all of that would be enough to convince them I'd be a good guardian. Honestly, all of this is just unnecessary. I'm doing this because Why the hell not? First of all, Arnell is my nephew, and I love that kid. I loved my sister as well, and even if I have no intentions whatsoever to become a parent, not yet, anyway, I just want to be there for him. I don't know how to get social services off my back, I say with frustration. Maybe a little too much. I don't know what they expect of me. What should I do? What do I need to say? It's getting harder and harder to fend them off. I see. I'm sorry, I wish there's something I can do, she empathizes. I just wish someone told me what to do, I whisper to myself, not knowing what else I should do. And before she could say anything, we start to hear rustling of sheets. Autumn and I share a quick look before we turn to the bed and see that Arnell is sitting up, rubbing his eyes. The boy smiles at both of us. I can't help but let out a sigh of relief. I rush to his side and hold his hand. Hey, you all right, buddy? I ask in a hushed voice so as to not spook him. He looks disoriented, but he nods slowly while Autumn also comes to his view. Arnell lets out an enthusiastic but small, prolonged sigh, almost like a whisper. He leans back to his bed and coughs a little to get rid of the scratchiness in his throat. He looks so frail, dark circles under his eyes that I can't help but rub them with my thumb. He turns to his teacher as she speaks. Arnell, are you hungry? Do you need some water? The boy nods, and she promptly walks to the small table in the corner to get him a cup. I run my hand over his hair. Relief floods through me. He's finally awake. I'm so sorry, buddy. I should have been more careful. Get better and regain your strength, all right? I speak to him with so much calmness. The kid brings that out in me, I guess. Autumn comes back as she reaches over the other side of the bed, helping Arnel lean forward just a little bit. Here you go, champ. She tips the cup to his mouth as he drinks it in small sips. He smacks his lips, yawning a little, and rubs his head on my hand where I am touching his hair. I like this, he says in a giddy voice, and I raise a brow at him. The hospital bed or the water? I ask, confused. Arnell shakes his head, laughing a little at me as he weakly pats my hand. No. He looks up at me with a strange expression, and his next words make me freeze and red with embarrassment. It's like we're a family. I like it.
Chapter 6. Autumn. I feel my face heat up at Arnel's comment. For all I know, it's just a little innocent observation from a kid who yearns to have one happy family someday. I know, because once upon a time, I was in Arnel's shoes, but back to Hunt. The man is too handsome for his own good, and it doesn't take a genius to know that he's way out of my league. This whole scene is a little embarrassing, but if it makes the kid happy and feel better, then I'm all for it. Arnel is a very promising student. I treat all of my students as my own family, but knowing Arnel and I are in the same boat when I was his age makes me feel a special connection with him compared to my other students. It also doesn't hurt that his uncle, Hunt, is a really nice man. He may have a lot to improve on, but I don't blame the guy. He looks like a very busy man, and he's a bachelor through and through, so I understand he isn't that aware of the fact that simply providing financial assistance is not enough. However, I can see that he wants to change, and that he genuinely loves and cares for his nephew. And I totally respect that. Hunt smiles at Arnel and pats his head. So, I'll go get some dinner for the three of us. Turning to me, he asks, Is it okay if you stay here with Arnel until I return, Autumn? I nod. Of course. He frowns for a moment. But what about school? I shake my head. Don't worry about that. Like I said, my friend is taking over my class for me. The way Hunt smiles at me makes my heart pound and my cheeks heat up. You are a godsend, Autumn. He glances at Arnel, and I do too. The kid seems to be hypnotized by the monitor of his heartbeat on the side of his bed. I think it's a little overboard, but I think Hunt just wants to make sure that everything is okay. So, listen, he suddenly says in a low voice. I could have it delivered, but I want to do it on my own. I want to change. And seriously, I can't thank you enough for coming with me to the hospital with him and how you take care of him in school. I don't know what I'd do if something happens to him and no one has his back while I'm... Hey! Before I can stop myself, I reach out and place my hand on his arm. There's just so much pain, agony, and self-loathing in his expression now, and my heart pinches at the sight. You're a great uncle. I just know it. I know Arnell thinks highly of you, and I know that getting dinner for us by yourself is your first step on this path. Change takes time, one baby step at a time. I give him a small smile and pat his arm. You got this, Hunt. Arnell and I believe in you. He smiles back and nods. Of course, you're right. I wish you were my teacher. I laugh, but I can feel myself blushing again before smacking his arm, playfully. Go on and buy dinner. You don't want Arnell to go hungry, do you? Right, I'll be back. Behave for Miss Autumn, small fry. Hunt calls over to Arnell, who I figure has been watching us closely the whole time. It makes me blush again. As soon as Hunt is gone, I scoot my chair over Arnell's bed. So, Arnell, how are we feeling? He shrugs his little shoulders. Would you be mad if I say that I feel a bit better now that I'm not in school? I laugh, shaking my head at him. He can't fool me. Arnell adores going to school. Honestly, I'm happier that Uncle is here for me. I watch as he looks down and fiddles with the bedsheets. Of course your uncle will be here for you. Why wouldn't he be? He shrugs again. I don't know. But I know that I look like Mom so much, and I'm just worried he doesn't come to see me often because of that. And I love him so much that I don't want him to feel sad. My heart breaks for Arnell with every word that comes out from his mouth, but I also can't help but appreciate the thoughtfulness of this little tyke. Here is a kid who yearns to have one happy family with his uncle, but chooses to forego the notion because he doesn't want Hunt to be sad from the memory of his sister. Though he also lost his mother, he doesn't let it bother him because he thinks about his uncle's feelings first. He loves Hunt so much. And even though I think foster care isn't that bad, it'd do him more good if the social services let him stay with his uncle. Oh, baby. I reach over and take his hands in mine. Your uncle loves you too. He's a busy man, and I think he's just doing his job with your future in mind. And I also think that he won't be sad because you look like your mom. Really? He asks hopefully. I can see that he's smiling, but his eyes are pooling up with tears. Happy and relieved tears. Really, because through you, he'll still feel the love of your mom. I reach over and tap the place where his heart is. Arnell suddenly leans over and hugs me. Thank you, Miss Autumn. I return his hug, blinking back my own tears. No need to thank me, Arnell. Now, I pull away and rummage for a bit in the bag I took with me. With a handful of paper on one hand and a pencil case on the other, I place it on Arnell's lap. How about we draw something for your uncle, huh? All right. He grins at me, looking like his confident and self-assured uncle, and my heart pounds as I smile back.
Chapter 7. Hunt. As I walk back to the room with bags of food in hand, I stop before entering to make sure I didn't forget anything. And just outside the room, I could hear Arnel talk about the drawing he's so busy doing after I left the room. He must have finished it already, I think to myself while smiling gently at the thought of him working so eagerly, even though he was just admitted for having dengue. Sighing heavily as I lean against the wall just outside his room, I think about the call I had with social services this morning. I have to take more care of Arnel or they'll take him away. But how? I frustratedly run a hand through my hair. Just then, I hear Arnel pipe in that the woman he's drawing is his teacher, Autumn. "This is you, Miss Autumn, and this one on the left is my Uncle Hunt," he cheerfully exclaims while noting that he used the same colors we currently have on our clothes now. Hearing him describe his drawing brings a sharp ache in my chest as I think about the loss that we both share, but especially for him, being so young and losing both his parents at the same time. The issue with adopting Arnell and giving him a complete family seems to grow with each passing day. Shaking off the heavy feeling, I put on a happy smile before entering the room. Arnell immediately looks up from his drawing and excitedly waves his drawing at me while Autumn is sitting by his bed grinning. "Look, Uncle Hunt, I just finished my drawing. Come take a look," he announces excitedly. As I feel the ache in my chest start to fade away at hearing Arnold's cheery voice, I move to place the bags of food I just bought and walk to Arnold's side. I hear Autumn tell him that she'll check what I bought for us with a gentle hand against his hair before leaving his side. As I gently tousle his hair and congratulate him, I watch Autumn roll the small bedside table hospitals have for patients with Arnell's food on it. "Okay, enough of that now. It's time to eat. You better eat everything your uncle bought so you can come back to class as soon as you're better," she reminds gently. I watch Arnell make a face as he spots a cup of salad and say, "Do I have to finish all that salad?" "Doctor's orders, pumpkin. Come on. You do want to see your friends at school, right?" Autumn says before smoothing his hair gently. And just like that, I watch as Arnell starts munching on his salad. I grab a meal box and hand it to Autumn. "Here, Miss Smith. I hope you like what I got for you," I say with a smile before dragging another chair close to the bed and gesturing for her to take a seat. She accepts the food with a friendly smile that seems to reach her rich, chocolatey eyes. As I watch her take a seat from across the bed, I continue to observe how well she is handling Arnell. And that's when a thought strikes my mind. I mull over the possibilities in between conversations over dinner, and just like that, I have a foolproof plan. As the three of us finish our food, I start helping Autumn clean up before having her assist me in tucking Arnold to bed. "Will you come visit me again, Miss Autumn?" Arnold asks as we both help him get settled. With a look of pure adoration on her face, she gently runs her fingers through his hair to help soothe him to sleep. "I will try, but I have to be in school. Who would teach your friends if teacher isn't there? I'll stay here until you fall asleep, though. Would you like that?" "Yes, Miss Autumn. Good night," he says and turns to me sleepily. "Good night, Uncle Hunt." He reaches for my hand with his free hand, and I move closer and clasp it with both of mine before whispering, "Good night, champ." I watch him fight to stay awake for a few minutes before noticing his breathing deepen. Moving almost at the same time, I watch Autumn gently release Arnold's hand as I move to rest the one in mine on the bed. She then gets up, but I gesture for her to talk to me outside. As we step outside, I leave the door slightly ajar to keep an eye on Arnel. I turn to face Autumn, and I see her with a friendly smile on her face and a hand on the strap of her shoulder bag. I promptly reach up and clasp her hand. "Thank you for coming with us today and staying to care for Arnel. I know you must be busy," I say wholeheartedly. "I may not pay a lot of attention to Arnel, but I do love him dearly." I watch as she smiles a little more genuinely this time and shakes my hand. "You're welcome, Mr. Lorde. Arnel is such a sweet boy. It was my pleasure. Call me Hunt, please," I state gently, trying to charm my way into getting her favor. "Okay, Hunt," I hear her say before continuing. "Do you have something to say?" Figuring how I should go about my plan, I decide to go bluntly and ask, "I'm sorry if this might come as a shock to you, but I'm desperate. I figure we'll only need a year, and I'll make sure to pay you handsomely if you agree." I pause and glance to see her patient gaze slowly change into confusion. I move and take her hand in mine and give her serious eye contact and say, "Please pretend to be my wife and marry me so I could keep the social workers off my back."
I hope you're enjoying this audiobook by Vic Savon. If you want to keep hearing more audiobooks, then please, please, please hit that subscribe button and like the video. It may seem insignificant, but the more people that subscribe, the easier it is to produce more audiobooks in the future. So please, help us out and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for listening, and now back to your book.
Chapter 8. Autumn. I don't know how long I've been looking at Hunt with wide eyes and an open mouth, but I don't seem to care as of the moment. To say I'm surprised is an understatement, but I can't deny that I understand where he's coming from with this plan. Admittedly, no matter how much I look at it, his plan is kind of a good one. I'm not sure I'm capable of pulling it off, though. I don't want to lie because I know that nothing good will come out of it. Lies are prone to be covered up with more lies until the cycle spins itself around you like a spider's web, and you won't be able to get out of it. Although I internally shudder at the thought, I also think about Arnell's situation, with the social services honing in on Hunt like a scientist under a microscope. One tiny misstep will have the child in foster care faster than one can blink. They might as well tell Arnell to kiss his dreams of one happy family goodbye. And I don't want it for both him and Arnell. Having experienced foster care firsthand, I can simply say that the chance of landing on a good and genuine family is very slim, since most of the families only accept children for the money. A good family who can take you in and care for you long-term is rare. I had one family who I thought would give me a forever home. That is, until my foster mom finally got pregnant and they had to send me back. That's the worst thing that can happen when you are in foster care, and I don't want Arnell to experience that. He's such a good kid, filled with hopes and dreams. If he goes into foster care, those hopes and dreams might fade away. I swallow the bile that creeps up my throat at the sudden memories I've been trying to bury for years so I can move on with my life. Hunt is still looking at me expectantly, and if I wasn't so rattled by reminiscing my past, I could have sworn there's a bit of pleading in his deep-set, bright hazel eyes. I clear my throat. I'll have to think about this first. He nods with understanding, but I can see a hint of disappointment in his eyes. He's probably thinking that I won't be accepting his offer. Of course, I don't mean that you decide now. Please take the time you need. I give him a small smile. Thanks for dinner, Hunt. I mean, what else am I supposed to say to him? Let me drive you home, it's the least I can do, he quickly says as I'm about to turn back to head out. Oh no, thank you, Hunt. Shaking my head, I turn and head for the door. I just want to be alone and think things through. Goodbye, Hunt. Oh, okay, bye. I can hear the reluctance dripping in his voice. I really want to turn around and look at him one last time. But I steel myself and see myself out of the hospital. I hail a cab and give the cabbie my address. Then we're driving off into the night. There are so many things in my head, and I feel chaos brewing up. One that's worse than anything I've experienced before. I arrive home and pay the cabbie, and as soon as I step inside my house, my body goes on auto as I think about Hunt's proposal and my impending decision. The plan is good. Not to brag, but I can see that I'm a very good candidate when it comes to keeping the social services shut up and harassing Hunt in surrendering Arnell to them. I scoff, as if they make sure that the children in their care are really cared for. Being on Hunt's side might also give him a chance to get full custody. There's a great chance Arnell will have a family that really loves him. The downside of this plan is if someone finds out about our ruse. If that happens, not only will social services sink their hooks deeper into Hunt, he'll also lose his nephew, and my career will be in danger. I don't care about the money that Hunt has offered to me in exchange for the pretense. What I care about is that I won't be able to show my face anywhere again, and that would mean that I will stop teaching. And I love teaching. Am I really willing to risk it all for Arnell? For Hunt? I keep turning the arguments over and over in my head, making a list of pros and cons in accepting or not accepting the plan. I finally drift to a restless sleep by dawn, still nowhere near in finding an answer to my dilemma.
Chapter 9. Hunt. The next day, I receive a text message from Autumn saying that she'll need a few days to think about my proposal. I send her a quick text back saying to take her time before putting the phone back down. That's as good as I'll ever get from her now, I guess. I think to myself before getting up to start the day. It's been 4 days and Arnell is finally home from the hospital. He's going back to school today. You excited to be going back to school, champ? I ask while turning into a parking space and turning off the car. Arnell nods excitedly as he starts gathering up his bag and jacket. Yeah. But why didn't Miss Autumn come visit me in the hospital anymore? I open up his door and help him out, and then I reach back inside and bring out his lunchbox before locking the car. He then reaches for my hand while we walk towards his school. She must have been busy here, champ. She did tell you that she has to stay in school to teach your other friends. I remind him gently and smile down at him as I push the door to the school's entrance open for him. He then agrees with a sullen look on his face as we walk towards his classroom. As we enter his room, he is immediately greeted by his classmates and is called to their group to play before classes start. I watch him and see Autumn at the back greet Arnel with a hug before waving at me. I wave back and smile before I see her gesture for me to follow her outside. Can I talk to you in private? She asks. I give her a slight nod as I move to follow her to what seems like her office. We both take our seat in front of her desk, and I watch her think about what to say. I've thought about what you said, and I'll agree to help you, she says bluntly and with an almost determined tone in her voice while giving me serious eye contact. Just as I let out the breath that I didn't know I was holding, she then stops me from saying anything by raising a finger at me. But I have some conditions, she states before sweeping her hand towards her desk. First, we have to be careful because my career will be on the line. I understand where you're coming from, and I love Arnel dearly, but I can't jeopardize my job. I slouch back on my seat a little and return her gaze with a smile. No problem. As a professional myself, I understand and promise you that our deal won't jeopardize your job. Just as long as she agrees, I'll say yes to anything. I think to myself as I feel like a huge boulder has been lifted off my shoulders. Returning my smile, I see her relax a little and rest her arms on the armrests of the chair before taking a deep breath and looking down. As for rules, I won't have much, she says almost too softly to hear. I ask that there will be no touching unless necessary. Of course, that includes kissing and no lovemaking, she finishes, and gazes back at me with those rich chocolate eyes of hers. Only when necessary. I have an interview coming up with a social worker in 2 days. I think it would be the best time to introduce you as my fiancé. I finish before pulling out my phone to confirm the date. As I watch her pull out her phone to check her schedule, I then finalize the date by saying, yeah, in 2 days. Maybe we can also get the ball rolling by hinting that we're already planning to get married soon. What do you think? Sounds like a good idea. She agrees and gives me a quick smile before putting her phone away. Okay, I'll go. She steeples her fingers together as she suddenly gets a serious look on her face. We'll have to make it as real as possible when Arnel is around. He has to believe that we're in love to give him a real sense of us being in love. I catch just a hint of blush on her cheeks before she stutters and says, only for Arnell's sake, and in case the social worker is around. They'll know right away that we're faking just by Arnell's reaction. She laughs almost awkwardly as if to make her statement less embarrassing. And what if we decide it's safe enough for us to separate? What will we tell Arnell? I ask with a gentle smile, making sure I don't pressure her with my question. Waving her hand in the air, she quickly says, we'll cross that bridge when the time comes. We just need to focus on making sure Arnell stays with his beloved uncle. She reaches out for my hand and I squeeze it. I do understand your situation, and I do love Arnell dearly. I just want you to know that it's not even about the money. She finishes before squeezing my hand back and letting it go. Thank you. Well, It would create suspicion if we get married right away. So, I guess it's better if people see us going out together now and then. As I watch her acknowledge that idea with a thoughtful look on her face, I then add, why don't we make this deal official with a date? Maybe later tonight? Just a few drinks won't hurt. I can't help but chuckle at the sight of her rolling her eyes and giggling at me. Oh, please, every teacher I know can't live without at least one glass of wine every night, she says with her eyes still shining with laughter. Sure, see you later then. It's a date then, I state before standing up and grinning at her.
Chapter 10. Autumn. Lorde, Hunt tells the pretty maitre d', who smiles and gestures for us to follow her. The restaurant is on the very top floor of a tall building, and I could see the city from the large glass windows. A band plays a soft jazz rendition of a song by Paul Anka while people wine and dine in the warm lighting. I can't help but gape at how romantic it all is. We sit at a table near one of the large windows, my eyes wide as I take in the sights of the city. The little candle and the rose aren't lost on me either. All the while, Hunt has his eyes on me. He pulls out my chair and I sit, thanking him. Wine? Hunt asks. I'd love that. Thank you. Excuse me, miss. He calls out to the maitre d', squinting a little to read her name tag. Miss Chloe, what wine can you suggest for us tonight? Special occasion? She asks. Oh. Hunt looks at me. Very special. Then I suggest our most sought-out Chateau d'Yquem. I glance down at the wine menu to check out what she's talking about, and my jaw drops at the price. Hunt doesn't seem to be fazed by it. In fact, he doesn't even bother looking at the price. The Chateau d'Yquem it is then. He looks at me. Right, honey? That'll be perfect, babe. I play along, and Hunt gives me an amused look. Right away. The maitre d' ushers off, leaving us alone again. Oh my. This is probably the fanciest restaurant I've ever been to. I look out the window again. The view is beautiful. Yes. Hunt rests his chin on his palm. It's beautiful. He flashes an endearing smile at me and takes the rose on the table. For you? He holds it up. That's very sweet of you. I giggle. I'm only doing this because you're a really attractive woman. Stop. I look away to avoid Hunt's eyes. It suddenly feels hot in the restaurant, but no one else seems to be bothered by it. I mean it. I force myself to look at Hunt, whose features are soft as he gazes at me. My breath hitches and I just know I'm blushing. It's been a while since anyone's made me blush, yet here, Hunt is, being the most charming man in the room. He's really handsome with his kind hazel eyes and his buzz-cut golden hair. His full lips are carved upward in a smirk, and I lose myself imagining what it might feel like to kiss him. You know, I always thought teachers were controlling and mean. Hunt leans back on his chair. But you really changed my entire perspective. Oh, did I? I laugh, shaking my head. You definitely did. Believe me when I say you're beautiful inside and out. Especially out. Okay. The heat rises up my cheeks again and I look down at my hands. Thanks. You're not so bad yourself. I know I'm acting like a love-struck teenager, and I don't know why Hunt is being a gentleman, but it feels nice to be praised. He doesn't take his eyes off me, making it harder for me to stop blushing. It almost feels embarrassing. A 1995 Chateau d'Yquem. Chloe returns, pouring the red liquor into our glasses. Glad to have something in my hand to keep myself busy, I look out at the city lights. Through the reflection on the glass, I see Hunt fish something out of his pocket. What is he doing? Autumn. He catches my attention. He looks around and he lowers his voice. I'm about to propose to you right now, all right? Oh. I feel myself nod, but I'm not sure if I'm ready. Obviously, I've never been proposed to before, so I don't know how I'm supposed to react. I watch as Hunt lifts himself from his seat and makes his way around the table to me. It feels like everything around me is a blur, and all I can see is Hunt bending down on one knee in front of me. As a little girl, I always dreamt about the moment the love of my life would propose to me. Sure, Hunt just wants to marry me for gain, but how often does a handsome man kneel in front of you and pulls out a ring? The whole situation feels so real to me, and I feel my heart swell and my eyes pool with tears. Autumn Smith. He says loud enough that other people in the restaurant stop to look at us. But it doesn't matter. All that matters to me at this moment is the man proposing to me. You came into my life and showed me how lucky I am, and you brought out the goodness in me. Hunt pauses to hold up a small red velveteen box. Oh, Hunt. I gasp as he slowly opens it, and the diamond ring inside winks at me as it shines. Will you marry me and make me the happiest man to ever walk on earth? I am at a loss for words as tears stream down my cheeks. I nod once, twice, 3 times. Is that a yes? He chuckles. Yes, I exclaim, wrapping my arms around his neck. Yes? Hunt slides the ring on my finger, and it's a perfect fit. Oh God, it's the most beautiful ring I've ever seen. My cheeks cramp from smiling too much, and I notice Hunt has a wide grin on his face too. I can't stop admiring the ring throughout the night and on the car when Hunt drives me home. I look at him as he drives, cheerfully singing along to the love song on the radio. I had a great night, I gush when he stops in front of my house. I guess we're engaged now. I'm a lucky boy. Hunt winks and I laugh. Well, good night, Hunt, I say before opening the car door. To my surprise, he takes my hand and gives it a kiss. Good night, Autumn. I wave at him as he drives away, the diamond ring on my finger glistening in the moonlight.
Chapter 11. Hunt. Darn, the bloodsuckers are here. I foresaw this. My engagement statement fills the headlines, top page of newspapers, tabloids, and the internet. My name and pictures with Autumn are all over social media. Paparazzi are around the perimeter of my residence. These guys will suck the lifeblood out of me, scrutinizing me to their heart's content. It torments me to drag Autumn in this dilemma. She's very much innocent. I've been calling her phone for the past 5 minutes, and yet no answer. Worry crawls in my core. What could have happened to her? Autumn, I breathlessly say when she answers the phone. Are you okay? Nope, I'm not okay, she snaps. Oh, I don't mean to be angry at you. It's just that the paparazzis are right outside my place. The guards are having a tough time stopping them. I'm sorry. Grabbing my hair in frustration, I drop on the couch. School is a big no for me. They're there too. My phone won't cease ringing earlier. I just turned it on, she explains to me. The paparazzi are giving her a difficult time. But I've learned they can dish out more with how they dealt with me. I know them. How about you leave your apartment? Stay with Arnell and me. I'll pick you up, I say. There's no other alternative. Staying in her house will only cause the damn crowd to go wilder. Some will undertake anything just to grab that scoop, even intrude in someone else's home. Can you make it? I mean, the media must be the worst in your place right now. How can you pick me up? I have an emergency exit here for this purpose, I say, as I snatch my keys from the table. Arnell is reading a book in the corner. He peers at me questioningly. I'll pick you up. Can you call a taxi? Ask someone to dress up as you so the crowd will follow the cab, I say to her. Been there, done that. I've encountered way worse situations like meeting your stalker. Okay. I'll ask my neighbor, she replies. Call me if you're ready to move out. I'll be standing by. I hang up. Was that teacher? Arnell asks me. His wide eyes speak of innocence and dependence. I'm doing this for him. Yes, so stay here. Behave. I'll ask the elderly lady next door to take care of you until I arrive. I pat his head. Okay, I'll stay. I'll wait. Arnell nods his head. His small hands are wringing the corner of his shirt. It pains my heart, seeing that he fears people leaving him. Grinning, I pinch his nose. See you later. I walk out of the condo and wave at Maria. She knows what to do. Get in. Autumn is wearing a bandana and sunglasses to cover her face as she runs into my car. There are no media outside as Autumn successfully lured them away with the help of her acquaintance. Hunt, she says as she looks outside, her face close to the window. They took off, right? Yeah, I saw them leave after the taxi. I nod as I drive away. Did they terrify you? Duh. She rolls her eyes at me. Yes, who wouldn't? It's the first time that it ever happened to me. I'm not like you who likes the dazzling spotlight. It can be traumatic. I'm sorry, I say. Thinking about my experiences produces a spoiled taste in my mouth. It's fine, I signed up for this. Autumn breathes deeply. How is Arnel? The chap's fine. He doesn't know about it yet. We must tell him before the news gets to him. The car makes a U-turn and I can see my building. Our places are only 20 minutes apart by car. We're here, I comment as I enter the private parking area. At least we have our privacy here. Silence reigns between us as we walk to my unit. The door opens and as we pass by Maria's place, Arnell comes out. I texted her earlier that we're coming to get Arnell. Thank you, I say as I wave goodbye to Maria. I greet her as Arnel runs towards Autumn. Hey, Pumpkin. She carries Arnel up. The interaction between them is like a heated caress in my heart. We go to my unit and they both settle down on the settee. Have you had breakfast? I ask her. Nope, I was so nervous I forgot. Autumn looks at Arnel and at me. Did you? Not yet, I reply for the kid. Let's have brunch? Yeah, anything will do for me, Autumn says as she opens the book that Arnel gave her. Hash browns, bacon, and eggs sound suitable for a meal. I whip up a few servings, and when I come out from the kitchen, I see the two of them huddling together, watching cartoons. Time to eat, babies. Grinning from ear to ear, I place the dishes down. Taste my Master Chef level culinary skills. Oh, Master Chef, Autumn teases as she takes a bacon piece and delivers it to her mouth. Arnell laughs. Uncle used to burn everything. I taught him how to cook. The little guy sounds so proud, chest puffed out and chin held high. Autumn and I chuckle. No kidding, he taught me. He drove me to learn because the little guy eats a lot. Takeout isn't good, I say as I bite on my hash browns. Well, it's not healthy for children, Autumn adds. Silence fills the room. Arnell doesn't notice it since he's busy munching on his food. Autumn and I lock gazes with meaning. She nods her head at me. I swallow the lump in my throat. I'm nervous. There's something we want to tell you, Arnell, I start. Arnell stares into my face as he chews, crumbs on his face. Autumn wipes them. Her actions are sweet. It gives me the courage to do this. Arnell's reaction is significant, and if he doesn't like it, it defeats the whole point of the act. Autumn and I say, glancing at Autumn, we're getting married. She's my fiancée. Married? What's that? Is it the same as Mommy and Daddy? Arnell asks inquisitively. He stops eating and turns to Autumn. Yes, it's like Mommy and Daddy. She nods. Oh, that means we're going to be family? Arnel exclaims and jumps in Autumn's embrace. Yes, we are, I say in a choked tone. Arnell's excitement pinches my heart. He must miss his parents so much. We're going to be a happy family then. Arnell jumps up and down on the settee. His delight is all over his face. Cheeks profuse with blossoming red. Autumn and I smile at each other, relief flooding me. We successfully averted the disaster called Arnel. Autumn really is a godsend. If it's not her, it won't be that easy. She's already family.
Chapter 12. Autumn. 3 days went by like a snap of a finger, and I'm still in Hunt's place. Why? The media and paparazzi are like hellhounds. They can sniff me wherever I go. It's disconcerting how these individuals follow someone around better than a canine dog. At least, canine dogs are more pleasant. Celebrities live like this. Can they sleep quietly at night? Maybe they have their eyes wide open all the time. I scowl at the notion. Sausage, I love them. Arnell runs towards me, hopping as he wants to see whatever I'm cooking over the stove. Go to the table, pumpkin. I'm almost done, I say to Arnell. Dining utensils are on the table, courtesy of no other than sexy Hunt. He's bending over, scouring the fridge on whatever's fruit is around. He neglected to add it to his groceries. To hell with fruit, though. The view of his tight behind on air is juicy enough. Arnell sits on his chair, swallowing his saliva visibly. Cute is an understatement when used on this boy. I ruffle his hair and set the serving of sausage on the table. Sausage, English muffins, and omelet. Arnell names each dish and claps. These are my favorite. Thank God that he seems to put practically every food on his favorite list. Hunt, let's eat first. You can continue on your adventure later, I tease him. Hunt stands up and smirks at me, a mango on his hand. There's a blemish on the skin, brownish to black. Grabbing the mango from his palms, I put it in the waste bin. It's bad, I warn him. Let's eat. But before we do that, let's say our blessings. After praying, we munch on our favorites. Watching the two of them eat is pure bliss. It's merely a simple breakfast, but they devour it as if it's 5-star cuisine. These two need someone to take care of them too. Hunt will probably eat the rotten mango, but he would have the common sense not to give Arnel any. He would just probably slice the good parts from the bad and eat them. But even so, rotten is rotten. He's so used in his bachelor life and being alone that he forgoes some things. Eat more. You need more weight in you, Hunt says as he places a piece of sausage on my plate. What's with you and weight? I ask with a pout. In this house, increasing weight is no dispute. I just consider a woman to be stronger with more meat in them. His lips curve in a cheesy grin, tongue running over his lips. One thing that has come to my understanding since I stayed here is that Hunt's sex appeal is out of this world. Exposure to it doesn't weaken its impact but adds more. He's such a hotshot director that people go hysterical over him more than they do with celebrities. From day one I stayed here, I went through his name online and discovered many interesting articles. There was this one article detailing when the crowd mobbed him. Guards prioritized the actors and actresses, and only a few escorted him. The fans bulldozed against those guards. Also, there's an article about his size. Thinking about it creates heat to my face. I glare at my meal, trying to overlook the idea. Damn it, how can they reveal something so private? Are you okay? Hunt asks. I'm fine, I breathlessly say and squint my eyes at him. Well, you were just staring at your food, he continues, pointing at my plate. Nope, I'm about to finish it. Shoving the half piece of sausage in my mouth is an attractive way to get out of this awkward scene, and yeah, it serves its purpose. Hunt hurries to offer me a glass of water as I choke. Arnell looks concerned, too. I gobble it, and the lump lodge in my throat flushes away. Be careful, Aunt Autumn. Arnell pats my back with his small palm. He's so sweet. I'm fine, I reassure him. Now that we're finished, what do you wish to do, little man? I'm a big man, Arnell protests and shows me his arm muscles and flexes. We're gardening. Urban gardening, you say? Arnell developed a fondness for plants, these past few days when he continued watching YouTube. Hunt bought a few pots, seedlings, and organic soil. It's a healthy hobby for a kid. They learn to take care of nature. We're arranging the plants on the veranda. Let's do this, I say as I roll my sleeves. Hunt is clearing the table while preparing what we need: a small shovel, spade if required, and garden gloves. We put soil in the pots. Arnell's teaching me how like a little expert. This is what he read to watch videos. Yes, that's enough soil. Not too much, Arnell says as he informs me of the depth of the soil. Sir, yes, sir, I say. He goes back to his pot, and the look of concentration on his face is very adorable. That's amazing. I praise him when he fills the pot with soil. Arnell laughs heartily. His eyes are twinkling. Perfect. Hunt is standing behind me without a squeak. He's standing by the door, hands inserted in his pockets, in the air blowing his hair into a sexy ruffle. Looking at him now, I think he is on the wrong career path. He should have been a model or a star. Behind the camera doesn't suit him. He should be in the center. Look, Uncle. Arnell raises the pot. I sowed the seed. Hunt nods in approval. Then he joins us. We spend almost the whole morning planting different plants until we used up all the organic soil. Did you enjoy planting? I ask Hunt. He grins like the cat that got the canary as he shoves a barely eaten donut in his mouth. Are you going to be okay? I ask him, wondering if he can swallow it. Arnell's looking at him. I won't give you water, he says. Swallowing the donut is Hunt's answer. That's talent. I haven't seen anyone swallow an almost whole donut. Arnell stares at his uncle, mouth open and eyes wide. Amazing! The kid laughs, and I can only shake my head. Baking, this is the talent, Hunt says as he grabs another one. As to my surprise, he rubs the icing on my face. Oh my God. Arnold's laughter echoes as he does the same and rubs it on my other cheek. Then they start running and shouting like mad. You're going to pay for this. These last 3 days have been the most beautiful moments of my life. A small hope inside me is asking for this to last a bit longer.
Chapter 13. Hunt. They were everywhere for the past days. God heard my prayers, though. I haven't seen them for 2 days now. Paparazzi and the media keep pursuing me around like lovesick fools to obtain the scoop that would propel them to fame. Preferably something so damning they'll make dollars out of it. It's an understatement to say they'll have a fiesta and people will go gaga. The bonsai won't trim itself, you know, Autumn says from behind me. Grimacing, I check out the bonsai in front of me. There's barely a cut. I know. Sighing, I turn to her. Our gazes lock, granting me the illusion that she's peering into my soul. A week passed, and she transformed my life in so many aspects. Happiness became identical with her name. Bothered about the meeting with Mrs. Brines? She strikes the nail on the head. Flashing her my pearly whites sheepishly, I ruffle my hair. Damn, I'm uneasy. Aunt Lorde is nervous? If my buddies and colleagues knew, they'd roll on the floor, laughing. I'm nervous too. Judging from your words, Mrs. Brines has a stick up her butt. Autumn gestures with her finger with a saucy grin. My shoulders shake in laughter. She says the right words to make me better. The way her cheeks bulge when she speaks about it. It's like a rabbit munching on carrots. That's the Hunt I know. She taps my shoulders. Let's get ready. She said to meet at the coffee shop, right? Yeah, I reply. Let me talk to Arnel's nanny before we leave. We say our goodbyes to Arnel, leaving him with the nanny. Luckily, Agnes is back from her week-long vacation because her daughter gave birth. The coffee shop is a 10-minute walk from here, so we take a hike to rejuvenate our minds. Silence prevails as we walk. Autumn's a few steps ahead of me. People look our way. Fortunately, they don't recognize me in my disguise. We both are in one. Autumn, are you ready? I ask her with my hand on the shop's door. Are you asking yourself or me? She takes a peek at me, lowering her sunglasses on her nose. Darn, I guess so. I take a deep breath as I push the door open. Mrs. Brines is very conspicuous at the coffee shop's center table. Not only that, her headmistress attire, black-framed thick glasses, and the scowl on her face is like a beacon for evil spirits. A sore thumb in this lively establishment. Damn, she's here, I hiss. She looks like my terror teacher in high school. Autumn comments, her eyes wide. Worse than your description. Her eyes are giving me the chills. Walking towards the woman seems like decades. She's glaring at us, her lips upturned in displeasure. You're late, Mrs. Brine says as she places her pen down. This is a sign that you're not invested enough. A vein pops in my forehead. What the hell? She came early. Ma'am, there's still 10 minutes before our meeting, Autumn gracefully says. Her words bring back my calm. Mrs. Brines glowers at her. You're too early for our appointed time. Mrs. Brine's face darkens, feeling like Autumn is criticizing her. It's a very remarkable character, ma'am, she adds. Admiration for Autumn spreads in me. She took a dig out of Mrs. Brines and smoothened the situation at the same time, in a span of a minute. I give her a thumbs up in my heart. Without waiting for the latter's reply, I drag a chair for Autumn and sit in mine. Good afternoon, ma'am, I greet her. Autumn does the same. So? She doesn't even bother to look at us, nor return our greetings. She flips her folder open and stares at it. I'm guessing that those are the questions for the interview. Mrs. Brines closes it with a snap. Let's begin. She gazes at us. Her dark eyes show no semblance of emotion. How did you two meet? We were dating for a time now. I'm a teacher at Arnell school, Autumn answers. I grab her hands, bringing it to my lips for effect. Warmth travels from her hand to my heart. God, it's intoxicating. No touching. This rule is out of the window. Oh, so you agreed with his cheating, Miss Smith, correct? Mrs. Brines touch her glasses. Where is your sense of value, then? My hold on Autumn's hand tightens. What the hell are her questions? Autumn squeezes my hand, indicating me to keep my calm. Your question is irrelevant to the topic at hand. The former's lips curve in disdain. This is for Mr. Lorde. How can you be responsible for a child when you can't be responsible in your relationship? That's a personal dig. As you can see, I'm engaged and am now willing to commit, I reply in between my teeth. This is not an interview. This is torture. Are you sure? This engagement of yours is very questionable, she comments as her eyes roam on Autumn. I think this is irrelevant to the interview, I grit. Autumn glances at me. Her eyes tell me to stay rational. This woman is looking for my weakness, and if I explode here, it's another bullet to fire at me. This is very relevant. Mrs. Brines taps her index finger on the table. I have to question the legitimacy of your engagement. It's impossible for a man of your caliber to commit suddenly. Mrs. Brines, this is slander if you continue in this route. Autumn beats me to it. I'm about to give her a piece of my mind, and it won't be pleasant. Fortunately, Autumn is a quick thinker. You have a recorder. We can use it against you, too, she adds. I just noticed the small black box at the side. The sight of it sobers my mind immediately, dousing the fire in me. Mrs. Brines glances at it, too. She straightens her back and swallows. It's a sign that she's stepping back in her aggressive approach. Once more, she opens the file and continues with the questioning, albeit in a more proper and less intrusive way. Damn, that felt like hours, I say as I slump on the bench. We're in the park outside my building. Yeah, I didn't even get to taste my matcha latte. Autumn sits beside me. She's mean. Yeah, a big bad punk. Her family must all be punks for her to turn out like that, Autumn says. Her husband might be a dog to stomach her, I add. We smile at each other and laugh. It feels good to diss someone, releasing the pent-up anger in our hearts. The day turns into night. Stars slowly peek out in the sky, the moon witnessing our bonding. We get to know each other deeper. And I realize I like her more and more with the passion of 1,000 suns.
Chapter 14. Autumn. I don't know how long it's been, but I can finally breathe easy since the story of my engagement with Hunt died down. I'm also breathing easier because, thank goodness, I'm back to teaching. I didn't realize how much I was missing my job until the moment I stepped back into my classroom and take in the familiar smells of baby powders, crayons, papers, and crisp, freshly washed uniforms. I'm also happy to see Arnell back to his usual self in class. I feel even happier knowing he's extra active and cheerful because of my supposed relationship with his uncle, and how he's finally going to get the family he's always wanted. Of course, the telltale pinch on the back of my mind keeps on reminding me what will happen to that happy face of his when he finds out that his uncle and I are only pretending. Refusing to dwell on such thoughts any further, I shift my focus to my class, and it doesn't take long before I'm fully immersed with my job. Everything is still the same, which I'm thankful for, since I don't want my whole world to change just because I got engaged with a famous director. However, there are some changes that I can't stop from intruding, like how I finally get to meet some faceless parents who come to shake my hand and introduce themselves, or the occasional visit from my co-workers and some school board members to congratulate me. But there's one change that I'm very happy with on this weird journey with Hunt. My lunch break routine. The bell rings, signaling that it's already lunchtime. I can feel the restless energy of the children, eager to get out of class and to spend time in the cafeteria, not to eat, but to play the video games they brought. I dismiss my class, and they rush out of the room like a mini stampede. I settle back in my seat, and I smile as Arnell skips over in front of my desk, pulling one of his classmates' seats. His feet swinging, he looks at me expectantly. "What's for lunch, Aunt Autumn?" Ever since the fake engagement, I make it a point to prepare Hunt and Arnell's lunches. Now that I'm back to work, I don't see why that has to change. And what's great about this is that I get to eat in the classroom with Arnel. I take out 2 lunch boxes and hand Arnell's lunch to him. "See for yourself." I wink at him and wait as he opens his lunchbox with excitement. "Oh boy, grilled ham and cheese." He cheers and digs in with gusto while I watch him with a stupid smile on my face. I lift my own sandwich to my mouth when I hear a knock on the classroom door. I look over and my eyes widen at the sight. A man wearing a local floral shop's uniform, holding a bouquet of roses with a mix of tulips and some daisies. "Sorry for interrupting lunch, but are you Miss Autumn Smith?" he asks, checking his clipboard on the other hand. I place my sandwich back in my lunchbox before nodding and standing as he comes in. "Yes, that's me." "Great. Delivery for you." He smiles at me, handing over the flowers and winking at Arnel, who's eyeing the bouquet with interest while chewing. "If you would just sign here, please." I juggle the bouquet, reaching for the pen he's holding out with my free hand, and sign on the delivery form. He tips his hat at me and wishes us a good day before leaving. I just stand there, gaping at the flowers. I helped pick the flowers with Uncle Hunt, Aunt Autumn. I hear Arnel pipe up amidst mid-chew, and that's all I need to snap myself back to reality. Shaking my head to clear the cobwebs, I turn to the boy and smile at him. "Thank you, Arnel." I flinch when I hear my phone ring, and knowing who exactly is calling, I instantly answer it. "You got my surprise?" I close my eyes and savor the feeling of his voice sweeping over me, like warm chocolate sliding down my throat, so delicious and so addicting. "Autumn?" I blink rapidly and I can swear my cheeks are tinged crimson. I glance at Arnell and I'm thankful that he's back to focusing on his sandwich. Yes, I got it. Thank you, Hunt." But really, you don't have to do this. I emphasize the statement, hoping he'll get my meaning that he doesn't have to be sweet and send me flowers since we're not even out in public. I sit back in my chair and place the bouquet on my desk, eyeing them with a small smile. Don't be silly, Autumn. He chuckles from the other side. I'll pick you and Arnell up after school, okay? A breathless okay is all I can say before he ends the call on the other side. You better eat, Aunt Autumn. Class is about to start again. Arnell points out since I still haven't removed my attention from the flowers. Oh, right, you're right. I give a self-deprecating laugh and quickly finish lunch while my mind wanders over to Hunt. I can't help but think that with every moment I spent with him, I keep finding myself in awe. I didn't expect him to be so sweet, kind, and caring towards me. No matter how much I try to deny it, Hunt really is my type, having all the attributes that I want for a boyfriend or husband. In fact, I won't be surprised if I'm already in love with the man. The sandwich I swallow suddenly takes a wrong turn that I choke and cough. Arnell yelps in front of me and hurries to offer me his juice box, which I drink without hesitation. Holy crap. I'm in love with Hunt Lorde. Are you okay, Aunt Autumn? You want more juice? Arnell asks. A small, cute frown marring his forehead that I can't help but reach over and ruffle his hair. Thanks, sweetie, but I'm okay now. I'm actually not. My whole senses are reeling from the newfound fact, and I don't know what to make of it. The bell rings and I sigh in relief. Literally got saved by the bell. Arnell and I pick up our mess, and I spend the rest of the day ignoring the discovery that I'm in love and decide to worry about it later.
Chapter 15. Hunt. My directing career started really well, especially at my age. I enjoyed all the perks that being a famous director could bring and more. Trips to different countries and having flings with different women almost every week was the life I lived. But out of the blue, I find myself transported to a different way of life these past few weeks, and I honestly like it. Days filled with intimate laughter shared between Arnell and Autumn has become something I look forward to now. I catch myself thinking of Autumn more and more each day, and I've made it a point to always see her. But am I falling in love with her already? I honestly can't say since I've never really fallen for anyone before. As I drive down the street in my latest BMW X1, I start to wonder about my feelings towards her. These past few days have been a blast. Arnell is starting to get attached to Autumn, and I've been counting down the time until I could come and see her. I shake my head and focus on driving to a party I was invited to a month ago. If only I didn't promise to show up, I say out loud, talking to myself. I'll just come over, drop off my gift, take a few pictures, then leave. The party I'm headed to is for one of the first actors I've worked with when we were new to the film scene. Since then, he has made a big name for himself as a lead actor for romance and action movies. Smiling fondly at the memories, I then notice a row of cars parked on both sides of the street. The scene is expected when a well-known celebrity is throwing a party. And what do we have here? I say knowingly as I watch two people check their cameras and hide them inside their windbreakers. That is one thing I hate about this line of business. People don't care about your privacy just because you work on and off screen for a living. Bunch of vultures, I mutter to myself before a valet comes up to my door and opens it for me. I promptly thank him and step out of my car before striding down towards the entrance of the building. I press the button for the elevator and head up to the penthouse. Just before the elevator doors open, I take a quick peek at my phone for any messages and see that everything is fine. Suddenly, the elevator doors slide open, and I'm welcomed by faces of everyone I know in the business. I get pulled aside by my friend and partner, Tom Bennington, the host of the party. Grinning from ear to ear, he grasps my hand in greeting and says, "Congratulations, man. Damn, never thought you'd get hitched this soon." "Thanks, Tom," I say while laughing genuinely, wholeheartedly enjoying the feeling of talking about my upcoming wedding. I guess when the right one comes, everything just goes into place. Luckily, Tom misses the look on my face when someone comes by to greet me. As the night goes by, I start enjoying myself and couldn't help but indulge in a few glasses of drinks. Just a few glasses won't hurt, I remind myself before downing a shot of vodka. Slamming down my empty glass, I catch movement on the side of my peripheral view. Turning, I see a woman approaching me. Dread fills my stomach. Cherry, I sigh to myself while feeling all the happiness I was feeling drain out of me at just the mere sight of her. A fling who wanted to set herself as a wife for one of the leading people in the industry. It just so happens that I was her perfect mark. I take another shot of vodka to toughen up for whatever drama she might bring. I instantly know that she's up to no good as she slinks her way towards me in a skin-tight red dress with a slit that runs up her thigh. Hunt Lorde, I always thought I'd be the one to make you kneel in front of a lady, she says, before tilting her face up towards me for a kiss. Ignoring her greeting and patting her shoulder instead, I jokingly reply, "Well now, Cherry, I guess you just weren't the lady for me." I try to put on a friendly smile. I watch her pout those glossed lips of hers as she presses her body up against me and wrap an arm around my shoulder. "But we both know you miss me. I've missed you. Why get hitched to a boring woman like her when you can have me?" She tries to pull my head down for a kiss. I pull back and gently smile at her before resting a palm against her cheek. She must have taken that as a sign to finish the act before I move back and remove her arm from around my shoulder. "Maybe someday when you finally meet someone you love, you'll understand why looks aren't important," I say gently and start to move away from her. I watch as her beautiful face turns from flirty to enraged before catching her glance towards something out of my view. Confused, I move to turn and see what caught her eyes, and then she suddenly pulls me down and presses her lips to mine. Dumbstruck, I move to push her away when a flash of light blinds me for a second. Dread fills the pit of my body as I realize what's going on. Oh God. I scowl at Cherry and race after the photographer that took our picture. Losing the man amongst the crowd of people, I feel a lump in my throat slowly choke me as I pull out my phone to tell Autumn what happened.
Chapter 16. Autumn. Calm down, Autumn. I keep on repeating these words in my head as I stare at the newspaper in my hands. The headlines and front page are filled with a picture of Hunt and some woman kissing for all the world to see. I already know about this since Hunt called me the moment the woman kissed him and got blinded by a flash from the paparazzi. Or at least that's what he said. What actually happened, I'm not sure. I don't want to doubt Hunt, but I'm in too much pain to keep everything in perspective. I'm hurt. My heart aches. And I want to rail and rant at Hunt for making me feel like this. But I'm not his girlfriend or his fiancée. In fact, I'm not his anything. So I don't have any right whatsoever to feel any of those towards him. All I can do is hope that my heart will survive this. However, I'm actually more worried about Arnell and about what he'll be thinking when he finds out about this. On the newspaper, television, or from his friends. We have to hide this from him as soon as possible. I have to head over to Hunt's and see if Arnell is doing okay. That means I have to suck it up and pretend that the picture doesn't affect me one bit, even though one look at it this morning crushes my heart in an instant. I look outside, and to my relief, see no one there. Yet, they're probably camping outside Hunt's house since the news broke, so I quickly pack some essentials and a few more clothes before locking up my house and hailing a cab to get to his place. My phone rings just as I settle myself on the seat, and I answer it immediately. "Where are you?" I hear Hunt on the other line. I roll my eyes at myself upon hearing the concern in his voice. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the concern, and I know he's looking out for me like a friend would, but I just wish that he'd stop doing that, because I can't seem to stop my heart from hoping. "I'm on my way there," I answer. "Good. I'll send someone over to pick you up and help you get through the horde. I agree and end the call. The ride doesn't take long, and as soon as I got off the cab, 2 muscled men flanked me on either side as they herded me towards the house. They opened the door for me and let me in before they positioned themselves outside, closing the door behind me. Autumn? Thank God you're here. Hunt rushes towards me and envelops me in a hug. And stupid me actually enjoys every moment of it. It's fine, I guess, since I have to savor every moment with him before we go our separate ways. He pulls away and studies my face, and I make sure that I keep it blank so he can see that I won't be complicating our agreement. I'm sorry this has to happen again. I hope you understand, but we need to lay low again for the next couple of days, he explains. And I just nod in agreement. He seems to be studying my face some more, and I wonder why. When he opens his mouth to say something, his phone suddenly rings in his pocket. Glancing at me apologetically, he grabs his phone from his pocket and frowns upon seeing the caller ID. What is it, Brines? He almost snaps. But I can see that he's holding back his irritation. Yes, she's here with me. What? Why? Why just Autumn? Damn. Fine, okay, I'll tell her. He ends the call, and I can see that he's about to blow up in anger. What is it? I ask hesitantly. It's Brines. She said she wants to talk to you privately. He answers in a pained voice, as if it takes everything in him to say it to me, as if he doesn't want me to go to Brines on my own. I mull over the news and wonder what Mrs. Brines wants from me. Surely she can also say it with Hunt present. However, whatever it is, it sounds big and serious, and for my ears only, so the least I can do is hear her out. I can always tell Hunt whatever we talk about after. I nod. Okay, I'll do it. I can see that he doesn't want me to go, but then he sighs and agrees anyway. Okay, just promise me you'll be careful. I don't trust her, Autumn. I give him a small smile. Don't worry, I can handle myself. The next thing I know, I find myself sitting with Mrs. Brines in a coffee shop near Hunt's place. I'm wearing heavily tinted glasses almost as big as my face. My hair is under a cap, and I borrowed some loose jersey shirt from Hunt. I look like a lanky, baby-faced teenager, and this disguise is enough to escape the paparazzi for a little while. I don't want to beat around the bush. So let's head straight to the point, Miss Smith. Brines begins with her usual snobby and stuffy way. I want to make it clear that I know you're not Hunt's fiancé in any normal way. I've done my homework and interviewed people within your social circle. And guess what I found out? Brines pauses for a moment to sip her coffee, eyeing me with a wicked glint in her eyes, knowing the suspense is killing me. According to their testimonies, they say that Hunt Lorde is actually someone new in your life. I swallow. Well, of course they will say that. Hunt and I have been dating secretly for a long time now. He's a famous director, and I'm just a simple teacher. And Mrs. Brines cuts off my denial when she tosses a handful of pictures on the table. I take a look and realize that all of them are photos of Hunt with different women. I don't know what to say, so I just stare at the pictures as my heart crumbles further in my chest. Brines sneers at me. If you don't know what these are, Miss Smith, these are photos acquired weeks before you and Mr. Lorde even met. Furthermore, if you're going to use the pathetic excuse of love at first sight, it won't be applicable at this point because you said so yourself that you and Mr. Lorde were already dating secretly. I dare not say anything lest I say something that will be the end of our ruse. Thankfully, Mrs. Brines is not yet done talking. Granted, I still need solid proof regarding your case with Mr. Lorde, but she suddenly pierces me with her cutting gaze. Know this, Miss Smith. Once I uncover the truth and realize that you lied about this, you can't just brush it off. I will definitely make a report, and I will make it so that your school will know about it and you'll be fired for your dishonesty. She scoffs at me and finishes her coffee, wrinkling her nose with disgust. I've never seen anyone look at me like that. And it's enough to break my whole being all over again. And to think teachers like you are teaching kids to be honest. Mrs. Brine stands up and glances at her watch. Well, I guess I've proven my point, Miss Smith. The truth is out there, and you can be sure that I'll be there waiting for it whenever it comes out of hiding. Good day to you. And with that, she leaves. I'm left to sit alone in the coffee shop. The tears won't stop falling from my eyes, and my heart can't stop aching. What am I supposed to do?
Chapter 17. Hunt. I pace around the living room as I count down every second Autumn is gone. I shouldn't have let her go alone, I tell myself, while running my fingers through my hair in frustration. I collapse down the couch and press my face against my hands, and then I hear the lock of my front door click. I quickly stand and move towards the door and see Autumn looking so distraught. I rush towards her and take her into my arms. Slipping my hand up the back of her head, I brush her hair with my fingers while I kiss her head and whisper, "Calm down, I'm here now. Tell me what happened." I pull away and walk back with her into the living room. I help her settle down and grasp her hands in mine. As I caress the top of her hands to help soothe her down, I wait and let her decide to talk when she's ready. She lets out a shaky breath and grasps my hand back before she starts speaking. "She knows everything, Hunt. She has enough proof to ruin your chances at keeping Arnel and to ruin my career," she says almost too fast while getting a little teary-eyed. Shaking my head, I pull her to my side and wrap an arm around her while smoothing a hand up and down her arm. "Shh, try to calm down first." I lean back to look at her and smooth her hair behind her ear, with a reassuring smile on my face. I watch her smile before swiping under her eyes and say, "I'm sorry. Crying about it won't help any of us, I know." She takes a deep breath and slowly starts recounting what Brian said. As I reassure her throughout her story, I can feel my heart sink and tear to pieces at having to watch her being so down and close to tears. And that's when it hit me. I love her, I think to myself, when I realize that I've fallen in love with this gorgeous, kind-hearted woman in front of me. I quickly pull back a little and cup her cheek. "Tell her I threatened you. Tell Mrs. Brines that I forced you to pretend to marry me." I watch her expression turn from surprise to assertive. That's my girl, I think to myself, despite fearing what she's about to say with that look on her face. "And how would that affect Arnell when he finds out we lied? Could you risk losing him to a foster home?" she asks me with so much passion in her eyes. She gets up then and starts pacing a little in front of me with her arms folded under her chest. "No, I don't want to let Arnell think that we lied to him all those times," she says, while taking a quick glance towards me. "I'll keep lying to Mrs. Brines. We'll think of something," she says adamantly as she keeps pacing. I let her be in hopes that pacing will help calm her down, but the road she's planning to take is something that would destroy her, and I can't accept that. "No," I say sternly while I rest my elbows on my knees and clasp my hands together. "I will not let you lose your career. You love your job, and I can't let you lose something that you have so much passion for." I feel like I'm stuck between a lowering wall and fast-rising water threatening to drown me any minute now. I watch her stop pacing and stand just a foot in front of me, and see how millions of ideas seem to go through her face. We quiet down and look at each other for a few minutes before I catch a look on her face that seems to be a look of determination before she comes back to sit beside me again. As I adjust and move to make space for her, she clasps my hand with hers and gives me a gentle look before saying, "I don't care anymore, Hunt. I can't imagine having Arnel go through the foster system when he has family and people who love him here. I'll go with whatever plan we come up with tonight because I can't afford to lose Arnel, and I can't afford to lose you," she finishes, while gazing softly at me. My breath stalls just as it exits my body and almost chokes me, before I realize that I must have kept staring at her for at least a minute before visibly shaking myself. I feel my heart pounding as I think of something to say. Do you love me? I ask her softly while moving to hold her hand. Did I hear you right? Is this real? Was she just joshing around? Thankfully, she gives me one of the sweetest smiles I've seen from her and bobs her head before saying, Yes, I do. I'm sorry, Hunt. I know you're not interested in love, especially with me, but I quickly stop her mid-sentence by slamming my lips against hers. She freezes in surprise for a second before moving to grasp my shoulder and returning my kiss. I feel my heart soar as we tenderly kiss for a few minutes before we both pull back and stare at each other with eyes shining with love and tenderness. I cup her cheek and caress it as I rest my forehead against hers. I love you too. I've been in love with you for a while now.
I hope you're enjoying this audiobook by Vic Savon. If you want to keep hearing more audiobooks, then please hit that subscribe button and like the video. It may seem insignificant, but the more people that subscribe, the easier it is to produce more audiobooks in the future. So please help us out and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for listening, and now back to your book.
Chapter 18. Autumn. Is he asleep? I ask as Hunt comes out of Arnell's room. Peeking, I see the latter's head on the pillow. Yes, Hunt replies as he gently closes the door. We stand in front of each other, only a few centimeters apart. We're breathing the same air, feeling the same heat rising in the room, experiencing pressure so thick you can cut it with a bread knife. Everything around us fades, and Hunt's all I can see. His face moves closer, and the air he breathes is caressing my face like a warm hand. Closing my eyes, I savor the feeling as Hunt's lips land on mine. Our lips lock, tongue crawling in my mouth and rolling inside. My tongue meets his and entangles in an embrace, a kiss of passion. Fire ignites in me, melting my insides and burning my skin. I'm a puddle of indescribable emotions. My hands go around his neck, holding on for dear life, fearing that he'll take me over the precipice I'm standing. But if he's waiting for me, I'm willing to make the leap. Nails digging in his shirt, I push him to the wall. Autumn. Hunt tucks a strand of my hair behind my ear, his eyes never leaving mine. I love you. I love you too. My heart's thudding nonstop in my chest. It will burst if I don't vent out my emotions. He picks me up in a princess carry and brings me into his room. Kicking the door closed, he puts me down. Nervousness and anticipation wars inside me. Bright hazel eyes stare at my core and heart. Hunt, I say as he steps towards me. His larger-than-life presence envelopes me, driving me breathless. Moving backward, I drop on the bed and he follows. He rolls me onto him. If you want to know where this spicy scene is headed, you won't be able to hear it now due to this platform's guidelines and restrictions. But we want to make it up to you by offering the unabridged version of any Vixa audiobook, including this one, for 40% off. All you need to do is go to vixavonromance.com and use code VIXA40 at checkout. Are you enjoying the story so far? Let's get back into it.
Chapter 19. Hunt. The last few days had been perfect. Autumn's presence in Arnel and my life brings many changes. She made our lives even more beautiful and meaningful. Before, it felt like I lost touch of myself with all the glam and glory in show business. I was lost in how to deal with Arnel. Perhaps I thought of the kid only as a responsibility. Don't take me wrong, I love the kid. But he wasn't enough to drive me to be a better Hunt. No womanizing and someone who puts family first. This is who I am now. I couldn't imagine my life without Arnell and Autumn anymore. They have become the sole reason and center of my life. We're ready. The staff's voice breaks me out of my daydream. I look up and I meet Autumn's soft gaze. She's shy. Do I look okay? Her voice cracks, sounding nervous. There's a lump in my throat, preventing me from speaking. She takes my ability of speech, astounding me with her beauty. The orange body-hugging dress with a sweetheart neckline looks perfect on her, embracing all her curves. There's a sexy slit on the left leg that shows off her flawless long legs. Autumn's hair is twisted into a braided crown. "I want to take you home," I blurt out. A desire to hide her spreads within me. She's mine. Autumn's lips curve into an embarrassed but sweet smile. "You don't look okay, baby. You look gorgeous. Great. No words are enough to describe you." Standing up, I hug her in front of the employees of the station. "We're here to do an interview, but I feel like backing out at the last minute. Autumn's beauty is for my eyes only. My feelings aren't rational, I know it, but she makes me scared that someone will snatch her up. We should get married. Fast. Jeez. You and your sweet mouth." Autumn pinches my side, and we both laugh. Warmth envelopes my being. I realize that she only has eyes for me. Her eyes are dazzling as she looks at me, sweet as chocolate. Sincerity and love shine in them. "I'm telling you the truth," I say to her. "She's so beautiful, it's indescribable. How about we stop with these nonsensical praises and prepare for the interview?" Autumn raises her brow at me. "What nonsensical? You're the most beautiful. For me, no one can compare to Autumn. Beauty is in the beholder's eye, after all." Her lips curve into an almost smile, but she stops herself. "Let's stop now," she says as she grabs my hand. "Let's prepare for the interview." I capture her chin and give her a smack on the lips. "There's nothing more to prepare. I'm only going to state what's in my heart," I whisper in her ears. "Let's do this. Let's welcome one of the best directors in his generation, Mr. Hunt Lorde, and his fiancée, Miss Autumn Smith." That's our cue. Autumn holds onto my hand. She's obviously nervous, but her eyes are clear. "Leave everything to me, baby," I whisper as we walk hand in hand to the stage. The stage lights are always a welcome sight to me. "Smile, baby," I softly say as I direct Autumn to her chair. "I know," she murmurs and gives the audience and the camera a dazzling smile. "Hello, Hunt, Autumn," Marie, the host, says. She's a friend. That's why I had the interview here. "Hi, Marie," I say, and I wave at the audience. Someone shrieks, followed by people shouting my name. My popularity can beat most actors in the industry. "Hello, Marie." Autumn greets her and gives a slight bow to the audience. "I'm so glad that you agreed to this interview. People have a lot of questions regarding your engagement. You are so secretive, Hunt," Marie teases. "You and Autumn are perfect for each other." "Thank you," we reply in unison. The audiences tease us because of it. "It seems you have this telepathy going on," Marie jokes and squints her eyes at us. "But the question the people want to ask the most is where you met." "We met at school," Autumn answers. "Hunt has a nephew, and he's studying in my school. We were secretly dating." "Oh, secretly dating. You must be a very private person," Marie says. "I understand it's difficult to have a fiancé like Hunt. He's very famous." "Indeed. He's a handful." Autumn looks at me, her eyes saying she loves me. "Yes, I am, but all this time she has been with me." Emotions fill my heart. She has sacrificed a lot for Arnel and me. Being a teacher is her passion, and she placed it on the line just to help us. Autumn's is with me, sacrificing her much-valued privacy. "Wow, I'm happy for you," Marie says. Her eyes are teary. "I'm very emotional. Blame it on my pregnancy." We all laugh, but I turn serious. It's time to make things clear. "Thank you. There's just something I want to clear to everyone. Autumn is the love of my life. She's the woman who I treasure and care for," I declare. Silence fills the area. Cherry and I were nothing. She just ran at me and kissed me. A paparazzo was there to snap a picture. In short, it was a setup. Luckily, Autumn didn't give up on me. I bring her hand to my lips, landing a soft, intimate kiss on it. "I love you, baby," and that's it. In the audience, some start to cry. I love you with all my heart, too. I wish that Arnell and us can be one family soon, Autumn solemnly says. Oh, I heard about the adoption case. Can you tell us about it? Marie interrupts our sweet moment. Of course, I say. Arnell is... We talk more and the interview finished after an hour. I have a feeling that this interview will bring tremendous changes to our lives. True to my prediction, a week later, the social services informed us they fired Mrs. Brines from her position after the head found out she solicited money from the community. We'll make sure to look at this case without bias, the new agent adds before she leaves. Autumn and I hug, and I kiss her softly on the forehead. The universe is on our side, baby, I say. Finally. Autumn leans her head on my shoulders. Yes, finally.
Chapter 20. Autumn. You're the light of my life, the angel sent by God to guide me and be my better half. I love you for all eternity, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer. This is my vow to you, my love. The guests clap as they hear my vows. Hunt and I lock gazes. We only have eyes for each other as we stand in front of the altar. Today is our wedding day, a perfect stage to celebrate and seal our love. This is the occasion that I've been expecting for over 3 months. Finally, we have reached at this crossroad of our lives. A new chapter, a life-changing one. Hunt holds my hand securely. I love you, my love. You're the one who changed my life and pushed me to be a better person. He chokes. Autumn, you're my sunlight, my smile, my heart, my everything. No words can express how much I love you. Hunt stops for a moment as a teardrop appears on his cheeks. A warm hand clutches my heart when I see his reaction. I promise to be with you for all eternity. I'll carry you when you're old and give you the remote to watch your favorite Netflix series, even if I want to watch NBA, he continues. Some guests cry while laughing. A smile graces my lips. When you feel down, you can always talk to me. I'll carry you up. I promise to love and to hold you forever. People clap when we finish delivering our heartfelt vows. The priest, a friend of ours, smiles and continues on with the ceremony. Our wedding is even better than my fantasy. It's perfect. Well, things are heating up again. You know what to do. Go to VixAvonRomance.com to get the dirty details that this platform won't put on the air. I know it sucks, but at least you can get a 40% discount with code VIXA40 to make up for it. Use it while it lasts and apply it to every digital product in your cart. Back to the story.